Hi, everybody, and welcome back to NJ Fire Guys. Thanks for coming out to run number 14. Our guest is Chief Craig Haas of the Freehold Township Independent Fire Company. One second, technical difficulties. Chief Haas is a fourth of 5 generations of firefighters. Began his career in emergency services in 1982 when he joined the East Brunswick Rescue Squad, where over his 13-year tenure, he rose through the ranks of chief driver, first lieutenant, and trustee for 5 years. His EMS experience continued as a member of the 5 Quad Volunteer Ambulance Corp, which protected the campus of SUNY Albany. In July of 2000, Craig joined the Freehold Township Independent Fire Company in Freehold Township, New Jersey. He is currently in his 3rd term as chief of department. Besides being a family man, Craig is also a photojournalist and owns Craig Haas Photography. Without further ado, I introduce Chief Craig Haas. Hey, Chief, how are you tonight?
Doing quite well. And yourself, Nick?
A little embarrassed on the technical errors here.
It happens. Joys of technology.
Yeah. How are you tonight?
I'm doing quite well. All's good.
Good. 3 terms. Jeez.
Yeah.
So, let us tell us about yourself. Where did it all start? 5 generations. I mean, geez.
Yeah. I started. I grew up in East Brunswick. I moved there literally on my 8th birthday. Got married, moved to Jackson. I'm about to be all over the place. So let's go back to where do you want to start?
Your childhood. I mean, was it a?
I grew up in East Brunswick. Went to the East Brunswick High School. Typical, average, kid growing up. Not really sure what I wanted to do. I eventually, went to college, trying to, figure it out. Went to SUNY Albany. Kind of jumping way ahead into, the college years and stuff. But I was in SUNY Albany. While I was in East Brunswick, I joined the East Brunswick Rescue Squad. SUNY Albany had 5 Quad VAS, and it was like, hey, this is great. It was a great way to meet people, do some good for people as well. And when all's said and done, met the person I have been married to for just about 36 years now.
And I have to tell you, I absolutely love Peggy.
Yeah,
she was one of my favorite partners when I used to ride Freehold First Aid.
Well, she's great people. Yeah, she's still there. She's actually one of the board of directors. So
the 2 of you, geez.
Yeah.
You guys must like punishment.
Yeah, we are gluttons. It wouldn't be uncommon, we're in a crash or something and the cops see us and call it, Haas family date night. It's us. It's who we are. We enjoy every minute of it, though.
Do you guys ever respond? Like, you have the chief's car, she has the EMS officer's car?
She no longer is an officer, so no.
Okay. Okay.
But there have been times, we were going to pick up her car at the shop and something really horrific came in on the radio on the MDT and we went together in the buggy. And so it's not uncommon for her to be with me going to a crash or something.
Yeah. Hey, it is what it is. Hey, extra set of hands and the chief.
Absolutely. We get there. She's doing EMS stuff. I'm doing chief stuff and it works. It works well.
Absolutely. And she doesn't get tied up going transporting.
Nope, not at all.
So, all right. So you wanted to back it up a little. Was it because I find with myself, people, I always find it interesting to ask people what made you think, people see fire department, they see firefighters, they see us running into burning buildings, they see the most horrific incidents that we're involved in. They don't see the good stuff that we do. like the parties and the kicking back and relaxing and stuff together. They don't see that. So like to somebody who joins the fire service, I always have to ask them. I'm like, what made you join here? So like for you, was that the same thing with you? You don't know whether you would have gone that way or not,
No, you're going to
because it
laugh,
was from
right?
family.
So I started with the East Brunswick Rescue Squad. My mother, there was no way, shape, or form she was going to let me be a fireman and live in a house. You know what? It worked. I did a lot of good with East Brunswick. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Peggy and I married, left East Brunswick, the squad after 13 years, lived in Jackson. My daughter was born. We had a dog, and it was time to move. We're going to go back to East Brunswick. Peggy was a teacher in East Brunswick. She still works in East Brunswick up until Juneteenth, and then she's retiring, which is
good for her.
Cool. So we came to Freehold, and we'd be out and about, and the firehouse was around the corner. And she, it was probably in October, firefighter month, and it was, let's go stop in the firehouse. I'm a fireman today because of my wife.
Okay.
She's the one who said, this is what you want to do. And she knows me. She knows me very well, knows what I like to do. She grew up with it, her entire life. And I'm blessed. I'm very fortunate. I'm where I am today because of my wife.
Okay.
She truly supports what I do. And when it gets the bad things that go on, not being around all the time, she gets it. She does the same thing.
Yeah.
So it works out very well. I'm very, very lucky man.
Absolutely. And for those of you, this is Craig and the lovely Mrs.
Absolutely.
Chief and Captain.
Yep.
All right. So, talk about the East Brunswick years, talk about your early years in the first day, in the EMS and,
when I was there, I was an EMT in both New York and New Jersey. At the time, the rescue squad, we actually did auto extrications. The fire department didn't. I believe they were doing it also, but we were called, for primary. We were the primary dispatcher pins. It was actually pretty cool. Being a fireman now and seeing, as times have evolved, that was probably not the best. It was very cool doing it. Made a lot of cool rescues, did a lot of good. Delivered a baby in the middle of the highway with my crew. So it was kind of neat.
Well, I mean, you guys got some serious roads in East Brunswick covers. 18, the Turnpike, all the, I'm trying to think of them off the top of my head. Of course, I'm blanking. Civic Center, that's just always been a disaster, that cluster of intersections. 18 over by the Voc High School, that's a disaster.
It's not better. It's no better.
Oh no, not at all.
No. So we also started to do some different type of work. I went to State Police Heavy Rescue School. Did a lot of rope rescue stuff. We were looking to put together a high angle team, and it was going well. And then, as anything, one thing leads to another. It was no longer going to be looked favorably upon, and I was moving. So
yeah, well,
it kind of died at that point.
Gotcha. So, did you always have like a knack for while you were in? Did you have a knack for it? The rescue stuff, the technical.
Always said, yeah. Always enjoyed it. Grew up with my dad and my grandfather. Working on stuff, using our hands, building, repairing. It was kind of a thing to do.
Yeah, shop class.
Yeah, it was cool because I had a great car. I had a '69 Firebird. Ooh, and the teacher was always asking, "Does your car need work? You want to bring your car?"
No.
No, it's cool. No, they helped me work on it.
Oh,
so it actually was very cool. Shop teaching was great. It was a great class. Years later, that shop no longer exists. But probably budgetary and all that sort of stuff.
Liability.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah. All right, so you want to talk about the dynamic of the 5 quad? Like, was that the equivalent of like the Rutgers ESU now, or?
Yeah, we We were in SUNY Albany is in Albany County.
Mm-hmm.
So we provided EMS for the student campus, both on campus and off campus. So that we're pretty much running throughout Albany. We did mutual aid with Albany Fire. And early on in my career, I went to a really horrific crash. I saw one of the greatest pieces of equipment. Can't find it anymore, called the Kansas board. And it was meant for Indy car racing. How do you get an Indy car driver out of a car? They have very specific equipment to get them in a very tight, narrow area. Albany Fire had it. So it was literally, here you are, here's what we're going to do, here's how we're going to get the people out of the car. And we did it.
All right.
So it was very cool. It was like literally on the job training as it was happening.
It's pretty cool.
So it's pretty neat. We had 2 ambulances. So we had one crew that was always on call, and then we had a backup ambulance. So once you were qualified as a crew chief, you can be, I was asking Peggy the other day what we call it. Another one I can remember, but it was a backup crew chief and a backup driver. So if you were the backup driver, you could take the ambulance wherever you wanted to.
Okay.
If you were the driver, you had to get to wherever the scene was. I lived off campus at the time, so it was pretty good. I get to bring laundry up to school on the bus, go to the ambulance, wash it, take the ambulance, bring it home. It was wonderful.
Even better.
Absolutely.
Park in the fire zone, maybe.
Yeah. It happened. There were a lot of good, bands playing at the campus. And, as you would expect, EMS needs to be there. So I got to see a lot of good shows.
Absolutely.
So it was a good time. And then, as I was doing that, I was an officer there. I was a safety officer for 5 Quad. And then I was also starting in East Brunswick. So it was neat. I got to see some, real world applications in East Brunswick, bring them back to school, and see some real world application at school and bring them back also.
I was going to say, you should have tried to get that what was it called? I have to look this thing up now and see if you can find them anywhere.
The Kansas board. I've yet to see it anymore. Yeah, everything changes. The standard of care now, people are in a motor vehicle accident.
Yeah.
Can you walk? Can you stand? You can walk. I look at Peggy. It's like, is this legit? And it's like, yeah.
I'll never forget when they started teaching that in the first time it was in my one of my core refreshers. I'm like, wait a second. No. I'm like, I'm still putting your ass on the backboard. Like, I'm still putting them on the backboard because because when that first started coming in, I had been on crews where we were bringing people into the hospital to Jersey Shore without backboards on. And the nurses, it hadn't gone to that side of the medical field yet. And the nurses and docs are looking at you like, what are you doing? Why doesn't this person have a collar on? Why don't they have a backboard? Just doing what I was told. But meanwhile, that could start a problem for you.
Yeah. So it was neat, but now we have a lot of crashes, as you know, when he's in Freehold.
Yeah.
Freehold EMS, they do a great job, and we work real well together. I get there, my crew show up. It's like, what do you want us to do? You have the person walking. That's fine. Tell me where you want us to stand, and we'll do it.
Oh, okay. I have said probably since I was a teenager that if I ever had to be cut out of a car, I would want it to be in Freehold Township District 1.
No, thank you.
Because going back to my teenage years when I was in the riding with the squad and coming up in the fire service, you guys, it was almost like monthly. You guys were having cars behind the Salem Road Firehouse and doing legitimately roll them over, cut them out. And I mean, you guys were between Route 9, Salem Road, Jackson Mills. You guys were cutting cars.
We do it
once, twice, 3 a month. You know? And then what was it? 2010, I want to say. We had that year between 16-2 and 16-1. It seemed like we were cutting cars every week. I want to say that I heard somewhere that we had the most dangerous roads in the state of New Jersey that year.
I don't doubt it.
Because it was literally every week we were doing something. Either you guys or we were cutting people out.
Yeah. A lot of times, working together.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because that was right after the first aid squad got rid of their crash truck.
Yep.
So, all right. So tell us a little bit about the department for those of us that for those out there that don't know, that aren't familiar with Independent.
Okay, we've got a member of 50 members. We have 3 firehouses. Our primary firehouse is located next to the Freehold Township Police Station. I think we've got like 40 square miles, give or take. The math could be a little bit off. Probably a good third is regular, suburbia, fire hydrants and everything. And then we've got a lot, out country land where there are no fire hydrants. McMansions, no hydrants. So that is, a concern. But Monmouth County, we're Monmouth County, for those that don't know, Monmouth County, New Jersey, central New Jersey, if you will.
And, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we've got, tanker task forces, so what we don't have in hydrants, we have in rolling water. It works real well. We've got, I think it's about 15 pieces of apparatus, 4 engines, heavy rescue, ladder truck, a tanker engine tanker, a couple of brush trucks, special service, mini rescue. Pretty much you name it, we have it. And what we don't have, it's on one of our boxes from mutual aid.
Or it's on order.
Yeah, well.
So I have to ask, what brought the change about? The gray instead of the white?
As far as
the apparatus color.
Well, for a second I thought you were talking about my hair. No, it's somebody came up with this idea. We saw it. It started, I believe they actually got the idea from Cinnaminson.
Okay.
And then, people went to the Board of Fire Commissioners, kind of got together and said, we think this will look great. And I think it does look pretty cool. So, that
it
is
looks
not
good. I like it.
It's the color scheme. We started out an engine. Engine came first. Then I think a couple of Chiefs buggies, and then the ladder truck, the third Chiefs buggy. That's where we're going. Everything's that color now.
Yeah.
And, sure enough, some of the mutual aid started to go that way. Freehold Borough, I believe, has one. 16-2.
Yep.
So. But
I'd been out of the area for a little while and out of touch. And I forget where I was. I want to say it may have been the 150th anniversary and for Freehold Borough. And I was like, is this something that there's more to it? There's something in the back in the
No, there's none. No.
They're like, no. I was like, can I start that conspiracy?
You probably wouldn't be the first one, but no, it's we are as of today, we're still our own separate entities.
Yeah.
We work exceptionally well. I've got a great staff. I'm just going to kind of jump to that for a quick second. And I couldn't ask for a better team. And we've started this year. We've had, in the last couple of months, we've had, I believe, 2 or 3 mutual aid drills. Either at the academy, everybody's there. All the freeholds.
Okay.
There's nothing going on behind that other than realizing we are our own first. We're helping one another.
Yeah. We're each other's first alarm.
Yeah, absolutely. And besides, what's better to do than train with one another?
Exactly.
Same thing with your guys. Train with who you're responding to calls with, and by and large, we're responding with these 2 companies.
Absolutely.
The majority of everything we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always worked where we always worked together, the 3 departments. But nobody wanted to admit it. Nobody wanted to put it on paper. Nobody wanted to. But I mean, that's the mentality. That was the old mentality. And talking about getting onto the topic of getting away from the old mentality, I have to give you a lot of credit. And this is why I definitely wanted to get you on the show. Excuse me. The Western Monmouth Mutual Aid meeting, when you came in with your, this is what I want, arrival. I don't care whether it's my engine or somebody else's engine. Whoever pulls up first, this is your assignment.
Yep.
whoever pulls up with the first ladder truck, this is your assignment. And I remember everybody, like the young guys looked at each other and they were like, I like this. It makes sense. And there were still some of those old heads in the room that were like, well, you can't tell anybody. No, I am going to tell you because I'm the one who's responsible and I want to eliminate confusion.
Yeah. And well, you've been in the service long enough. You know how it works. You still have those people that are going to say, no, we don't have to. We never did this. We don't need it now.
Well, then don't get on the truck when it's coming here.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with all this going on, I ran my biggest fire and maybe one of the biggest fires in my district. It was a third alarm commercial fire at Millennium Eye Care. Month and a half, 2 months, give or take. And that was the sheet, when it was first engine's got this, second, and it worked real well. There were no questions. There was nothing. Everything went according to plan.
It's amazing. It's amazing what happens when you have a plan and you train that plan and then you get to execute it.
Yeah. And it's, going back to the mutual aid drills together. When it was my turn to run an evolution, that's what I do. And my chiefs know it. And it's, I've talked to some of the mutual aid chiefs. They all think it's good work that we're all using the same or similar plans. So I'm proud that I put it together. I had some help.
Absolutely. So, like I said, I definitely wanted to give you your rightful due on that. I like that. It was a long time coming. I will say that. So what else do you have in the works? Anything new on the horizon? Anything?
Department wise, not really. I try to, we've all kind of taken an oath when we, and not the official oath, to serve and protect, but it's, we've joined good departments. My oath is to make it better tomorrow than the day that I found it. Yeah, and that's our thing. And that's not saying that we came to a bad place. I came to a great place, but that's my goal. Make it better, a little bit better when I leave it. So I've got a great staff, great team, and we do a lot of training, things that we didn't always do in the past. We're changing it up. Chief Santor, he's my assistant chief. He's my training officer, and he's the man. We work well. Frank and I talk all the time. I've got a couple other training officers in my line, and we're once again doing things where it's not. Yeah, we've got the mandatory gear check, the mandatory right to know stuff, but trying to do things that we didn't do. One of which was the mutual aid. We're working on elevator rescues. Took some classes out in FDIC. Something we do a lot in town. Elevator rescues. Trying to do things that we don't normally do. We're in a process. We did it last year for Zach McCarthy in his honor. It was a fundraiser. It was the rescue weekend. We're going to be doing something similar. Can't give you details. I don't really know it yet. It's a work in progress, but it's going to be, another big weekend thing. And it's, doing not your normal door pops and auto extrication.
Okay.
But, just once again, looking for what we do better. Get some interest. And if you train for the worst and it happens, you're prepared.
Absolutely.
If you train for the worst and it's not as bad, you're prepared.
Yeah. And what is it Gordon Graham always says? High risk, low frequency.
Yeah.
High risk, low. That's where we get jammed up. And, that's where, listen, I could stretch hose in a parking lot all day long. I could set up cones and stretch hose around cones, throw the ladder. Those are things I should be doing. Like, wow, that was a difficult positioning for the tower ladder. That's what I expect of my drivers. But it's those low frequency events that, like an elevator rescue. That's nothing. That's not a technical rescue. Like, I mean, yes, by NFPA standard, that's a technical competency, but that's something that we should be able to do. It's something that everybody knows we have the, departments that have them. They're right in the officer's seat, the elevator ring. Know how to use them.
Very true. You know what? There's we've taken classes out at FDIC, and it's some of the stuff we're doing well, and some we could be doing much better. And that's once again, it's trying to break away. If you can find a better way to do it, and it's documented better way to do it, let's try another way and do it.
Absolutely.
And that's with anything we do out here, in the fire service.
Yeah. It's not like we're even like I hit on structural competencies. We're not in suburbia. We're not doing it every day. Freehold Township, where I work, my place of business, we're not doing it every day. Right. So yeah, you know what? We need to keep training. We need to keep stretching lines. We need to keep throwing ladders. Practicing spotting trucks. Getting that stuff out there, and again, drilling with the people. Because I remember Independent used to have at least one truck out of each house. Now, I mean, what are you guys getting now?
We'll get the other two at Georgia Road and Smithburg. We don't get a lot of guys going to. It's just the nature of, some of the people that were there, they moved. You're going to get that.
Or they're getting older.
It's not uncommon to be able to get 2 or 3 rigs on the road.
Oh, good. That's huge.
So we're at least able to get, depending what it is and who, the drivers are, get an engine, the truck, or an engine in the rescue. Okay. Depending what and where.
Yeah, of course.
So, and by that, it's a minimum of 3. I prefer 4, but it's, we're not rolling for anything, a driver in 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're getting, full crews.
And actually, when I was in Plainsboro, we were speccing a new engine, and we decided to go with 3 seats in the back, 3 fold down seats on the back wall.
Okay.
Because the reason being, if you're getting 5 on the first truck that's rolling out the door, odds are you're not getting another piece on the road.
Yeah. With
at least 3. So, if you got 5, all right, hey, when do you get on the other truck?
Yeah.
Or 2 of you wait and get 1 more person. Now you got 3 and 3, engine and ladder out the door.
Yeah. And like everybody else, we use on responding. Everybody's, using something, and it's, first guys get to the building. Who's coming and what are the capabilities?
Yeah, exactly.
And figure out your crews. And if you've got a lot coming, put 3 on the road, figure out how to split it and with who. My captain, lieutenant, great guys, have their act together, and they're very good at making it work, getting the right stuff on the road.
Okay.
So to that, I'm real fortunate.
Good. That's awesome. Excuse me. The allergies are killing me.
I hear you.
Horrible. So training, specialties, where's Brian at? Is he still in Stafford County?
No. All right. Brian, funny you ask. Brian's in Prince George's County, Maryland.
Oh, he went over to Prince George's.
Brian's been there for about 7 years now.
Okay. He was in Stafford at one point, right?
Yeah, he started his career firefighting in Stafford, Virginia.
Okay.
It was okay. He made some great friends, some great contacts, but his dream right there, you got the 3rd, 4th, and 5th generation.
All right.
So, Brian's dream department was always Prince George's County. When he first got hired, it was about 7 years ago. He was at 44 engine, 844 in Chillum. It was one of the busiest, probably still is one of the busiest houses in the county.
Okay.
Sleep was not really a big thing. You sign up, you sign up.
That's why you have days off.
Yeah. He was there. Within his tenure, he actually was the senior guy on C shift. And
wow.
He truly proved himself. Right now he is in paramedic school.
Good for him.
He's doing exceptionally well. He's, for those listening that know my kid, Brian, if you knew him in high school, it's a different kid being in paramedic school. He's doing exceptionally well. He is now proud dad moment. He is the kid, and he said, I think he might be one of the oldest, and still a kid though. But he's the one killing the bell curve.
Oh wow, good for him.
He's doing real well.
Good for him. I always liked Brian.
Thanks. And he should be, paramedic school should be concluded, I believe, in December.
Okay.
So
well, Prince George is, if I remember right from Mark Delgado, another Freehold kid that went down to PG. That's a big step that's a big requirement in promotion, or big on points when you look to promote, right?
Well, to promote, if you're not a medic, you can't promote.
Okay. So yeah, So,
kind of the perfect way to promote, if you could become a medic first, if you could, then become a technician, if you want to, and then from there, go to lieutenant to captain, work your way up. But if you're not a paramedic, you can't promote.
Wow. That's one way to get them on the bus.
Yeah. And it's funny, given his choice, I think he'd rather just do fire. I'm sure many would. But, it was kind of neat talking to him the other day. And it's, I'm in a fire and EMS department. That is what I signed up for. And if I'm going to be in an EMS department, I can do the best job I possibly can for myself and for the people I serve. And
there it is.
So
there it is. For the people we serve.
Yeah.
So. All right. So what made you go into the leader? Like, what made you want to be? I mean, you've been an officer for a long time.
I never had any desire to be an officer. When I first joined, once again, Peggy said, you're going to love it. It's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I talked, with my father-in-law, third generation. I was hooked. It's, let's fight fires. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I was doing it, and came a point. I got a house full of guys, and the people we're supposed to be serving, my house couldn't serve them because we had nobody to drive. Now, going back to something you had mentioned, the other houses were getting apparatus on the road. I've got enough for a full engine, full truck, full rescue. And we're sitting watching. So I was like, that's not what I signed up for. I personally want to go inside. I want to fight fires. I signed up to take care of the community.
I don't want to just come to the firehouse and get my axe.
Yeah. So, that being said, I got qualified actually first on the rescue. We don't do that as much now. It's, typical. The older way was really, engine 1, 2, 3, and 4. And every now and then, someone would get the rescue. But I started out in the rescue, started out in an engine, and I started getting qualified on everything once again to get the apparatus on the road. I'd much rather be in the back seat and play fireman instead of playing chauffeur. But, one thing led to another. And I had one more rig to do. I had, our ladder truck. And then someone said, you're qualified. We're going to nominate you. So, I became lieutenant. That was great. Lieutenant for years. Captain for years. So, being a company officer was a blast. Yeah, some leadership. And you get to work. And it was great. One of the best things as far as being a company officer, Brian went through his first fire academy, Monmouth County. That was the first time. I get to work with my kid. It doesn't get any better. So it was very cool. And then one thing kind of led to another, and I went from lieutenant. We had second lieutenant. I went second lieutenant, captain, worked my way up to chief. And I truly enjoy it. There's headaches no matter what you do, no matter where you do it. I thoroughly enjoy it. Once again, I go back to, I've got a great team, and we are literally, when it comes to what we're doing and how we're going to manage the department, we do it. I don't, me well enough. I've never played I'm the chief. That's why.
Yeah.
It's us and how we're going to do this. And we are always on the same page, usually on the same line, same paragraph.
Absolutely.
Every now and then might be in a different paragraph, but we're always trying to do it the same way.
Well, excuse me. And there's a lot to be said about that. Like, if you're that officer or that chief officer that gives that because I said so, like, did I wear you down to the point where you have no answer, or you really just have no answer, and
Right.
now your credibility's gone? And what good are you? Because not only is that person that you just gave that garbage answer to completely doubting you now, everybody who just witnessed that is now, wow, that's effed up. That's kind of, and again, your integrity, your entire is gone. But that's how some people want to be, and that's how some people
It's
are.
not me. And once times change. I'm fortunate enough that between my father-in-law, retired chief, the guy will forget more than you and I together probably will ever know. So I've got him from FDNY, and I've got Brian PG, on the other side of me. So I hear a lot of different ways to do stuff. So do my guys. And if my guys say, we're doing this, can we try something? It might be better. If you guys can replicate something several times and it truly works better, you guys are the ones doing it. I'm not.
Yeah.
If it works better and you can prove it, changes are made.
I'm all about it.
And that's how you keep everybody happy. And it's not that, we're supposed to keep everybody happy, but you want it to be happy. You want it to be motivated. And I'll equate the happiness and motivated. You got guys motivated to show up because we can make changes. We can get stuff done.
Yeah.
And do it better than we did it yesterday. They're about that.
Absolutely. They feel like it's their organization. They have some kind of buy, give them something to buy and they'll buy it. And they'll now they have that ownership, if you will.
Exactly.
And they feel like it's theirs. And I remember some organizations down in that area when I was coming up were this is the way we've done it. There's the door if you don't like it. And I mean, for generations, those organizations lasted. And where are they now? They either came along with the times and those people are gone and that mentality is gone, or they're dying, the organization.
Yeah. Very true.
And it's terrible. All right, so where do you want to go from here? Let's go.
You tell me.
Your show.
No, man, I'm just here. I'm here for the ride.
I just wrangle the guests and bring them in. What's next? Do you see? Well, first of all, like you said, you're still getting 2-3 trucks on the road.
Yeah.
For call, that's amazing. Like, especially I know Freehold's a bedroom community largely.
Yeah.
And it's, like you guys have always relied heavily on the DPW workers during the day to be allowed to come out, and I don't even know how many of them are still.
Well, I don't want to say that was, I can't do it. Back, the time era you're talking about, we had a handful of guys working for the township. Yeah. They were allowed to go. Right now, we've got one guy.
Wow.
It's Bob Urban, great guy. He's my chief engineer.
Oh, great guy.
Depending where he's situated, it's much more challenging for him to be allowed to go.
Yeah, if he's on the east side of town.
Yeah, so it's, once again, that's a challenge. We make it work. One of the old guys, Chuck Yeager. We're very fortunate. The guy's 47th year, I believe.
Wow.
He's always still a top responder. He is always in the top 10. Does not believe in vacation notices. He's always here. And it's great. It's really, I'm very lucky to have him. He's retired several times. Retired once officially. He still works, for the township, for the Board of Ed. He comes. He's allowed to get out. So it's, once again, I'm fortunate. I've got my captain, Eric Schneider. He's a career fireman. With his schedule and he's not working, he's around.
Okay.
My lieutenant, Mike Solano, he's got a construction business. He works, he's not usually on the road. He's got crews that go on the road. So he's usually around. And both of these guys put a lot of time. And my other chiefs, when they can be here, they're here.
Yeah.
So, and that's part of it. And then we've got some younger blood that everybody's finding a way to be here. I'm a firm believer, and the guys hear me say it all the time. We've changed some of our bylaws as far as percentages and what you need to be. I'm a firm believer. If you want to be here, be here. And the guys that want to be here, they find a way. And they find a way to make it work. It's harder and harder. But that's where, working with, if I can get 1 or 2 rigs on the road, I know my mutual aid companies can usually do the same.
Yeah.
And it works somehow.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Absolutely.
So, wow. And for those of you out there that hear the name Chuck Yeager, he is not the guy who broke the sound barrier. Different guy entirely.
Yeah, very true.
Great guy, just the same. But
yeah. So, big plans for the department. I don't see us staying on the course we're taking. Just doing consistent with the training, more of it, expanding. What do extra? The things we do most in town are probably 3 things, 4 things. Smells and bells, like everybody and their brother. We do a fair amount of elevator stuff. We see fires, we see crashes, and that's really what we put our emphasis on. One, making sure we're better today than we were yesterday for ourselves, and then the community, and in doing that, in the drilling and the training, getting the guys wanting to be here and do it, and they do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really what it is. You gotta have a carrot on the string, whether it's a job or going out playing golf. If you don't like playing golf, giving up your Saturday to go play golf, there's no carrot on the string. Now,
absolutely.
If you're telling me it's a charity, it's a fundraiser, all right, there's the carrot on the string maybe for me. But if you don't like going to, who doesn't like baseball? But if you don't like going to Yankee Stadium, that's not a carrot on the string for you. You don't like going. You're not going to want to go. There's got to be something in it. And the volunteer, again, there's organizations out there that are dying off because either the community outgrew volunteerism or they didn't treat people right. The people running the organization didn't treat people right, and they left.
Right. What has made it harder, and it's 3/4 of the country is volunteer, which is phenomenal. Yeah. But it's getting harder and harder for the certifications. Can't speak to the other states, but Jersey's making it harder and harder. So that becomes an issue. And Freehold, it's not an inexpensive place, to live. So depending what you're doing, people are, multiple jobs makes it harder to be around.
Yeah.
The thing that's tough, I've got a bunch of guys that are interested, and I use my kid. We've got I'm going to back up a little bit. We've got a great recruitment program. Our juniors. Our juniors are real strong. We've got a couple of juniors, and I will use Brian in that. Tyler McNamara is another. We got them brought in. They loved it, and they wanted to become career firemen. So the problem with that is where? So Brian's, as I said, Prince George's County, Maryland. Tyler is in, I believe, Jacksonville, Florida. Big, busy departments. So you've got people for a while. They're answering the calls, getting on the rigs, and then not as much. Fortunately, we do have a good program. We've been working with the high school. We teach a driver's ed class for a particular day, and it's, everybody's all excited to go do the driving, and I don't do the teaching. I was fortunate I showed up for one. Lieutenant Salami does it. But it's really, driving's fun. It's great until you do something ridiculous, and crashes and the things that can go wrong when you're not paying attention. So we've got, a classroom scenario set up, slides, a variety of things, some equipment, passing it around. And when the class is over, there's usually a couple of guys, sometimes girls coming up. I like this. And it was not, the original intent was not to go looking for juniors, but we've got juniors coming from that because they think it's cool. And, in doing so, you've got a couple that's what I want to do when I grow up. So it's really cool.
Absolutely.
Good program.
It's a different world. Once you get into it, it's either in your blood and you stay or it's not.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Until it's 3 o'clock in the morning and you got to get up. But that aside, great.
True story. But yeah, so the recruitment and retention. What are you guys doing, like, to keep once they're in? I mean, like you said,
One of the
Freehold's
biggest
not an
problems
easy
we
town.
had, when it's more on the administrative side or bylaws, the bylaws in the day worked where you had to make certain percentages. The problem going back to, you've got people that want to do this, working multiple jobs, working shift. It just becomes very difficult. So we changed some of our bylaws to make it. The bylaws were, some people said, we're rushing to throw people out. We're not rushing to throw anybody out. The bylaws, which run the organization, says if you're not making X,
You're out.
And we've taken the time and the effort to make it that, once again, if you want to be here, be here. To get thrown out, you really got to want to get thrown out. And by that, I'm not saying you don't have to put in your time. You still have to, the minimum now is 5% of calls.
Oh, wow.
Okay. But it used to be you had to make 30%. It's tough. So there's, certain advantages, the more you make, but you've got to make at least 5%. You've got to make 7 out of 12 events. Those events are your work details, business meetings, and drills.
Okay.
Once again, if you want to be here, you're here. If you want to get thrown out, you really got to want to get thrown out at this point. So it took a lot of time, a lot of effort to make that come to be. But I think it's going to be a plus for us. I think it's going to be very big.
Now, I remember you guys were probably up around 1,000 when I was still in the area. What are you guys at now? Call volume wise?
Mid-7. I think when we had some major major storms, not including Sandy. There was Irene, Earl, and I think one other. And we're talking about one day we had.
Irene, that was the tree came down on the rig while you guys were driving.
Yep. So, those storms, you could do 20, 30 calls in the night. So that aside, we're doing between mid-7 to 800 calls.
Okay. You're not going to the mall every day for lunch?
Not as much.
Okay.
There are still the places, in every town, no matter where you go, although I can't speak to you, where you're going on the base and stuff, but everybody's got it.
Nowhere.
Yeah. Well, you deal with it. We do have some great relations with the mall, always have. We do some training there with them, with the mall and their security, because they've got to do X amount of drills for the year. Right now, some of the anchor stores are gone. So we've got access to Lord & Taylor. Right now, Lord & Taylor is our acquired structure. We've been, once again, the ability to go and train. We've been in there twice. Probably going to go 2 more times. But we saw that. And it's...
I mean, that's got does that have 2 elevators? It's got escalators. It's
got escalators, got regular, passenger elevators, got a freight elevator.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of, once again, you're talking about pulling lines. We could do it in a parking lot. How about actually opening real walls? How about opening door after door after door, opening ceilings, showing guys that what's above your head, the drop tile, this is what can go wrong when it goes bad. And making the guys open the ceiling and see there's a whole world up there.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
It's very cool that we're able to do that.
I'm jealous. Yeah. I would love. I mean, just think about it. Even escalators. Who has the ability to train on escalators? In our area,
not often.
No, when you get an escalator or somebody's stuck in an escalator, or you get an escalator fire, it's real.
It gets very real very quick.
Businesses aren't shutting down so that the fire department can come in and look at their escalator. That's unheard of. Not happening.
Once again, talking about the carrot, there's a great carrot. You want to be here, you want to train, you want to do stuff that you don't normally get to.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of acquired structures. Excuse me. We've been fortunate, and that's one of those, you have it, you're made aware of it. If it's a house, you might have a week. or, and it's the ability to get in. So, we're there.
Yeah, you might have a week from the time they tell you, but then you got to get the variances, you got to get the permits, and then even then you still can't burn.
Yeah, you don't have to do as much for that. We're not doing any burning. It's just, the great thing, it's all truck work.
Yeah.
A lot of great truck work. And, the kids realizing it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah.
So,
truck culture is harder to earn.
Yeah.
So that's great. Are you guys big? I see Freehold Borough's doing a lot with the Fools. I don't
know. As a department, we're not. I know one of their guys, Jack, is a member of the Fools. He and I talked. I might be looking into it.
Okay.
So they're doing some training at their house, which is great. I know a couple of my guys are interested in going. But we as a department aren't. We're not. Nobody in my department's a member.
Okay.
No, I hear good things.
Yeah, they're big on training. They're always hosting events. I'm not a member myself, so I can't really speak too much. It might be one of those Mason things where you gotta have the Dakota ring and all the details.
Could be. You bet.
But yeah, so when is that rescue weekend that you were talking about, the Zach McCarthy weekend?
If it goes according to we're hoping, the original thought was mid-July.
Mid-July? Okay.
But that could change a little bit. And when, if it changes, or, when I know for a fact, I can let you know, and if you could share it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm asking. I would love to get that out here for you guys.
That'd be awesome. And it's, kind of neat. The town people are very happy we're doing it. We've done it. It's a combination of our parking lot, back parking lot, and the court parking lot, but it shows the people of Freehold Township.
Okay.
And I don't want to say it's a misrepresentation, because it's not. It's our firehouse. It's not all Freehold firefighters and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this training is taking place in their community. Yeah. The taxpayers are going by seeing, there's some intense training taking place here.
Absolutely.
So it makes us all look good.
Yeah.
And it is, last class we had, it was great training. It was good stuff.
Now, do you guys do a classroom night a day and then out on or is it all
hands on? How we're doing it. There's been talk about that. The last time the night before was literally set up.
Okay.
We had a school bus on its side, 2 vehicles underneath. We had a Jersey barrier on top of a car, a couple other cars on their side. So there was a lot of work going in to make it.
All right.
So I believe, and that's more, we've done more classroom when it's a basic extrication.
Yeah.
Well, like the last one was part basic, part advanced. I think what we're going to do with the next one coming up is just going to be an advanced class.
Okay.
In which case, by and large, you're at this class, you should have some familiarization.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're doing by the time,
You got to have the basics before you take this.
Yeah.
So that was a question that I've been trying to remember. Are you guys doing any kind of riding program or duty crews or anything like that?
No, not right now. Every now and then it's been talked about. Gordon's Corner does it. It works well for them. Logistically, I've got questions. I don't have answers. Logistically, how's it going to work? I don't know. The way our bylaws are set up, it's really going back to, once again, although it's you probably could do it the way our bylaws are now. With bylaws at 3%, if it's your duty night and I don't have to go, you're busy. So you get, a couple of runs a night. I'm not.
Yeah.
You're making your numbers. I'm not. That doesn't mean I can't get up and show up.
Exactly. And get that extra credit.
Yeah. Right now it's unfortunate, but it's usually 3:00 in the morning. It's the same 4 or 5 guys.
Yep.
And it's
that's everywhere.
Yep.
Everywhere.
So I think, I'm dealing with enough, not in a bad way, other stuff that I'm not really worried about that right now.
Well, like you said, you're still getting 2 or 3 trucks on the road.
Yeah.
for
Middle
calls?
of the night? No, I'm not.
Okay.
Middle of the night, I'm getting something on the road.
Okay.
If it's the middle of the night and it's work, I'm sure I'm going to get people. If it's not my house, I know I'll call mutual aid.
Yeah.
And with that, we've got some great, we took some time and effort, put together a great box alarm system.
Oh,
And we
absolutely.
people coming from all over, and I know it works 99% of the time. And the only reason I'm saying that kind of jokingly, my Millennium Eye Care fire, we called, and then as I'm going to my second alarm, just prior to around the time of the second alarm, Southern had a fire. So
Yes,
half
I
of us
remember that.
should go. They're going there. So now we're scrambling.
Yeah.
At the end, it all worked. I got to a third alarm, got everything we needed, no issues, and just everybody was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
First arriving apparatus. Granted, it was me. On paper, it still counts. The numbers were like we were a staff career department. First person, I was there within 3 minutes of dispatch. My first engine was there in 5. I think lines were stretched, within 7. Water on the fire, like within 9.
Wow.
And that's off the top of my head. But once again, it was
that's stellar.
That's
excellent.
Yeah, I was impressed, and it just.
I mean, shit. That's stellar for a career fire department.
Yeah, it worked. So that was daytime. Daytime, short staff. The nighttime, it's like everybody else. We make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, when it confirmed extrication or fire, everybody shows you'll get people out.
Yeah, kind of funny that way.
It's that fire alarm, that CO alarm. That it's funny. My pager just didn't go off. I didn't hear it.
Every night, we're all like that. But every now and then, fire alarms go off for a reason because of smoke and fire.
Yeah.
So
it's not always a malfunction.
There's been a couple, and I think there was a borough had 2 recently. It went off for a reason.
Yeah. When I was in East Freehold, we had one at I don't know if it still is or not. Burlington Coat Factory came in as a smoke detector activation, and it turned out being a 40-yard dumpster in the back that was on fire.
Okay.
I mean, that's going back 20 years, but yeah, it was very similar to how it was set up close to the building. The smoke was getting into the warehouse section of the building, just like it was in Charleston.
Okay.
So had we not been in the firehouse and took in the fire alarm, 5 minutes, 10 minutes more, that place would have been cooking.
Sure.
That's a big building. We might still be there.
It actually is. There's been talk about changing, but now it's still there.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't even know if that building's still occupied or not.
Yeah, it is. Some of the places have changed. Burlington's still there.
Okay.
Across from the mall, you're talking about like what kind of the future. I jokingly call it a city, but the farm across 9, that farm across from the mall, that's
the last farm.
Yeah, basically a city's going in there.
That's crazy. I heard like 700 or 800 houses.
Yeah,
some retail. That's insane.
Yep. So it's working with the planning board. It's making sure that it's going in. I mean, you're not going to stop it. Just making sure that
it's just a matter of when.
Yeah. They're in. It's been reviewed. It's going before the fire bureau. Some changes have to be made, which is any place. As stuff like that goes in, maybe changing specific box alarms for that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be tight areas and.
Yeah. Now are they talking about single family, or are they talking multifamily dwellings? And
it's gonna be all, I believe, all the above.
Wow.
There's gonna be some taxpayers, some multifamily, kind of townhouse condos.
Oh wow.
I'm not sure about the single family. There may be, but I don't recall that. But it's gonna be a variety of homes.
Yeah.
And we've got like everybody else across from Smithburg Firehouse. We're
Bronx
That's
sold.
going to be big stuff. Big developments going in there also.
Now that's all single family homes.
That will be, yeah.
I'm sure that's all going to be McMansions.
Actually, no. I think I don't know who the builder is, but kind of more like the Toll Brother kind of stuff.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
not McMansions, but nice stuff's going to be going
Not
in there.
small. Definitely not small.
No. Hopefully, maybe people coming into these homes realize maybe they want to be a fireman.
Yeah. Let me try it out.
Who knows? A lot of times you got people come from New York City. They don't know any better. You're paid.
Yeah.
You're paid. I live in a paid apartment, and all of a sudden you show up and explain that no, we're not. So.
I remember Adelphia Greens when that first opened up. Lady, 3 o'clock in the morning, told me if she wouldn't let me into her house because, I looked like I was 12. I was probably 18 or 19 at the time. She said, "You're not a real fireman." I'm like, I'm not letting you in until the real firemen get here. I'm like, we're gonna be here a while.
Yeah.
And then the cop, who was it? Pat Cruz at the time, I think it was. He's like, "Ma'am, this is all you're getting."
That's the man.
So I'm going to get into some of your pictures.
That was actually first time that a victim from a crash wanted to see the fire department.
Really?
We were recognized. That's the plaque is not for me specifically. It's for the department. We all took pictures with it.
Okay.
It was about 3 years ago. I was an assistant chief. I ran the rescue. Dan Spicuzza was chief of department. He ran the incident. A horrific crash on Easter Sunday. The car was bad.
I think I know the accident you're talking about.
A black pickup truck. You got that pickup truck was upside down. That's your first thought is that's the pin. And as you're walking, the driver truck standing right there. The front of the car was the mess. The girl kind of insisted to help her feel better, wanted to meet everybody. And it was probably one of the coolest experiences, actually having somebody you saved wanting to see you and shake your hand kind of thing. You've been doing it. I've been doing it. That's not why we do this. Just to have that and to look at her, not knowing the story, you never would have known she was in a crash. That's what that was about. That was cool.
Okay.
That was pretty
neat. Like you said, we all have those car accidents, fires where you always wonder what happened to that family. What happened to, she was really banged up or he was really banged up when we didn't think we were going to get her out of the car or him out of the car. Whatever happened. Yeah. You can ask the EMS crew, and the EMS crew goes, "Yeah, we dropped her off. She was still alive."
Yep.
And that's really usually where our story with that person dies. That hopefully not. No pun intended.
Yeah. So that one, that was very cool.
Now, I have to say, I called this picture the look because I noticed you have the look here and you have the look here.
Never noticed that, but yeah.
Whoever it is that's taking pictures of you, waits till you look that exact pose.
Yeah, I was both training, both drills.
Okay.
No, actually, no. One was a drill. That was a drill. The other one was at a job. Not that one.
This one, Kevin.
Yep.
Kevin looks happy.
Yeah,
or puzzled.
I don't remember. That one's a long time ago when I was captain. I will tell you this right now. Kevin is our president.
Okay.
He's a very good professional, business professional, and that's the way he runs the department. He's doing an exceptional good job. And excellent. I tell all the younger guys, if you're going into a fire, Kevin's a good guy to be with. I've been in fires with Kevin. These guys act together.
Absolutely.
He works hard.
Yeah.
And I know if I'm going down, he's making sure I get out.
Absolutely.
So,
or he's going to be with me till the end.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So now this looks like it's at a trade show, but
That
again,
was
brings
actually
you back.
FDIC.
Okay. But again, brings you back to your technical rescue.
Yeah, it was very cool. They, lowered. It was kind of a confined space.
Okay.
Well, the reality wasn't as confined, but being lowered down into below grade,
Okay.
taking a body and bringing the body up.
Oh,
So
nice.
essentially, the crew consisted of 3 people, 2 people in the hull, and a third person up top working the 3-to-1.
Okay.
So it was very cool. FDIC, this is the second time we've gone. I decided, as chief, this is one of those. I'll play the chief card. So let's go to FDIC instead of Firehouse. And it was 2 years, a phenomenal program.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, they're both great programs.
They are. One of the instructors, and he kind of worded it, and I do not disagree. It's like the Super Bowl of fire conferences.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest thought leaders in the business, they're all there, and it's very cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I
was just talking to Rob Pollock from Flow and Vent a couple weeks ago about that, about how the FDIC is that's like making it to the show in baseball. If you're a baseball player, you made it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's the big stage. So now on the confined space aspect, are you guys training for confined space at all? Because I mean, I remember the
this was just kind of it was there. A couple of my guys did this once again just because we could.
Okay.
It was very neat. Right now, if we had to do confined space, there's a couple of agencies in the immediate area we can call.
Okay.
So I don't think that's feasible for us to start to do. If somebody wants go to FDIC, take a class, or if there's somebody locally giving a class, that's a maybe. But as far as doing something team wise, making Freehold a confined space team, no, I don't foresee that. Most of my guys have enough common sense. They're not going to anything tight. They'll go, put them up in an aerial. They're fine. They're good. I'm one of those. Don't send me to real tight space. I'll go if I have to.
No, because I asked that question because I remember Freehold Township had their own water department and a lot of pump stations around town. Which, speaking of which, is the Brock Farms, is that development going to be hydranted? Because I know that area is very.
The Brock Farms will be hydrants now. So right now, Longfellow, Holland Ridge, that's like the last hydrant in town.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we're doing tanker runs, that's the fill site. But we don't know how it's going to go, how it's going to play out. But yes, that will be hydrants, which will be huge.
Oh, that's home run.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go to, I have this one. It's the best I could find of a family picture.
All right. The irony, that's my daughter. That's Nikki.
Yes.
Nikki is the only one in the family who's not an emergency service provider. During Sandy, she was home alone with my 2 dogs. Well, our 2 dogs at the time. She's a special ed teacher in East Brunswick. She's an elementary school teacher. And I would much sooner, listening to what she does, I would much sooner go into a burning building than do what she does. It's scary.
I can imagine.
I'm not kidding. What she does and how she does it blows me away. And and she's passionate about it. She's in a great district. She's been there. She's knock on wood. She's a tenure teacher in East Brunswick. She's doing well, and she's very good at it. And that was something. It was kind of her class. They were praising first responders, and it was she brought it home, and want to take a picture with mom and dad.
Aw. It's very nice.
Yeah.
So then, all right. So, do you have anything else? Any pearls and any gems?
Yeah, well, kind of
Before we-
pearls, gems, kind of looking at the list of stuff, that we might talk about, anybody coming in, you can't ask for anything better. This is truly the greatest job since greatest job out there. If I would have known now, if I would have known then what I know now, maybe I would have been a career fireman. I didn't go down that road. So that being said, I've been doing emergency services for 37 years. I love what I do. For those that want to do this, be passionate about it. It is, you get to do some of the greatest things ever, work with some of the greatest people, make some of the greatest friends. And it is a blast, try and people are going to go to a good department. The people there, the goal, going back to what, you and I said earlier, one of the things we signed up to do is I make the place better today than it was yesterday. When I leave tomorrow, the place is here before I got here. It will be here long after I go.
100%.
But, make your mark, not to the people before me didn't do a bad job, but it's trying to make it, a little bit better, and just be passionate about it. And that's kind of my takeaway. Once again, it's great. I've made some great friends. I've gotten to meet some really neat people.